Hey guys, it's Kim here, and I'm joined once again by Hannah.
Hello.
As ever. And we have just been watching the Sony conference. Unfortunately, we were not in the arena room, stadium, one of those, because we weren't invited, but we watched on the streams.
Yeah.
Imagine that. So, first up, Hannah, well, we know the drill by now. So, top 3 games from the Sony conference. Go.
Okay, firstly, I think it needs an honourable mention. It's not a full game, therefore it doesn't get a slot, but Infamous First Light DLC. So it's the story of Fetch, what happens before Delta and all that. I'm quite excited for that just because I did enjoy Infamous, and I think a lot of people at home enjoyed Infamous as well. So I'm going to have a look at that.
Yeah.
So that's sort of fourth a bit.
Do you think you'll play that when it comes out then?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's out in August, so if there's nothing else going on and it doesn't coincide with anything, then yeah, definitely. It would be good for a week or so,
Okay,
surely.
so that's number 4. So
Number 4.
3.
Number 3, I think it's probably, I think it's Abzu. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but it's like a quirky little indie game. It looked very pretty. You know, this sort of art style. It's a little bit, you know, it's the Journey
made by the
people,
same
yeah.
guys who
So
did Journey.
it's that kind of thing. It has a little bit of like
emotion,
just
beautiful.
everything. Just
good looking.
Yeah, it's so good. It looks beautiful.
I think, to be honest, the studio that made Journey, they can make anything, and
Yeah.
I will love it, because
Yeah.
Journey is one of my favourite games of all
Yeah.
times. It's absolutely stunning. So yeah, they can make anything, and I will consume it.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, so that is number 3.
Yeah.
What's in at number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me is The Order 1886.
Now, I don't know too much about this. I know that a lot of people are kind of getting buzzy about it. It was announced, what was it, earlier this year, or?
No, it's been going on
It's
and
been
off
going
for
on
a
for a
bit
while, yeah.
and that was the thing, because I've kept my eye on it for a while, but there wasn't a lot of information. There was just we're working on it, and then it was silent for a while. And then there was the trailer with the guy with like the lantern and like sort of steampunky stuff, Victorian-y. Lots of like smoky things
kind
and
of gameplay is it?
monsters. It's supposed to be a bit horror-y.
Horror?
A bit horror-y.
FPS or survival?
It's FPS. You can shoot things,
Okay.
so therefore I don't say survival because you can defend yourself.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be like the Knights of the Order, pretty much. I think is the concept. And it just looks dark. It looks very.
It appeals to you.
Yes, it's that sort of, you know, like the Thief, Dishonored sort of time world, not proper world, but that sort of Victorian element, and I love that in a game.
Okay, so that's The Order in at number 2.
Yes.
So what have you got for number 1?
It's gonna have to be Batman.
Of course it was Batman. I think this is easy. Like all the conferences, I can guess immediately what your number 1's going to be. It's the easiest thing in the world. Oh, what's going to be number 1 in the Ubisoft conference? Assassin's Creed. So yeah, Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
What do you like about Batman?
What don't I?
Well, obviously
What a
we
silly
know
question.
it's Batman.
I mean, what, like?
I mean, that was going to be my number 1 as well,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
we decided to mix things up in the order
We're
of
sharing.
variety.
We're sharing, aren't we?
We're sharing
being
Batman.
mature. So no, I just.
So they showed gameplay.
brilliant.
Oh
They
my
showed
god,
gameplay.
it looked amazing.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
yeah, I like the fact that it's back to Rocksteady Studios.
Exactly.
And we're not counting the
Origins.
last title.
I mean, I liked Origins, but I think it was really just because it was a Batman game and there was nothing else.
Yeah.
If
For
I had a
me,
choice between Rocksteady and Arcane, not
I think
Arcane.
it was, yeah.
Might have been
I
Arcane.
don't even know. That's how little I cared about Origins.
My brain is just filled with developers, so it's slowly dying. But if I had a choice, Rocksteady, I adore them, and it looks great. I'm so excited to see with next gen. As a PC gamer, I'm excited to see what that means, because Batman from Rocksteady has always been the pinnacle of Nvidia sort of gaming. So I'm really excited to see what that means for the new one. The gameplay looks fantastic. The fact you've got the Batmobile.
Yeah. That's what everyone wants, I think.
Hell yeah.
And I like the fact that it is carrying on with the story from 1 and 2, from Arkham Asylum to Arkham City to this one. So I can't wait to carry on and
I want to see more of the villains as well.
more of the villains.
I love all the villains.
And we're back to the A-list villains as well. Although I'm personally am hoping that they'll include Kite Man. If you don't know who Kite Man is, Google it. He's a legit Batman villain.
Oh man.
So that was your top 3.
Yep.
Okay, so my top 3, we are going to begin with Little Big Planet 3.
Right.
Now, coming from a PlayStation background, I'm deeply involved. You know, you can't have a PlayStation and not know Little Big Planet from 1, from 2, and then the Vita.
I know of it.
Stuff.
I know
you
of
know,
it.
Sackboy. You know the thing. The only thing is, I am rubbish at creating stuff. So I always enjoyed creating everything else that the community created.
Yeah.
It was one of those brilliant games where, like, even if you couldn't quite get to grips with how to make the amazing creative things,
exactly.
there was a whole community
I guess that's
full of levels to
a little
play.
bit like what Project Spark is doing as well. It's that the ability that the community can create something fantastic. So yeah.
But I always love the stuff that so Media Molecule with the original studio. It's a different studio from Media Molecule this time, but it's still very very much heavily collaborated. So it's still got the very tactile sense of Little Big Planet. And I think being on the PlayStation 4, immediately there's so much more hardware there to power it. So I'd love to see what the gamers come up with their creations. So that's in at number 3. In at number 2. Now we should also maybe make some honorable mentions to Ratchet Clank is being remade in HD, and also the movie's coming out.
Absolutely.
Ratchet Clank, one of the kind of original platformers for Sony, for PlayStation. So nice to see them making a comeback.
Yeah.
I personally am hoping for maybe Jak and Daxter as well. Maybe even Crash Bandicoot.
We need a Crash Bandicoot. It's been a while. Like, that's one of the things when I was a kid and I went around my friend's house to play on her PS1.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot.
So maybe we could have a little kind of retro collection.
Yeah.
We are also having Magicka 2. So anyone who's not a PC gamer probably isn't aware of Magicka. They are made by Paradox Studios. Paradox Studios being one of my favourite studios.
They've done, I'm trying to think what else they've done. So they've done that. They've done, was it War of the Vikings?
War of the Vikings. They do a lot of smaller games of a different variety. Some of them are great, some of them not so great, but they're all very quirky and they all have a really good sense of humour about it.
Absolutely.
And of course Paradox introduced it, their partnership with Sony and Magicka 2 coming on PlayStation 4, and their trailer again had that kind of trademark Paradox sense of humour, so it made me laugh. But that's not number 2. Number 2 for me is, this might shock you, Uncharted 4.
Oh,
in at number 2.
Oh, we've mixed it up.
I know,
since
right?
We talked.
Oh, where are we going to go next? So Uncharted 4, big Uncharted fan, big fan of Nolan North. So not very much was announced. Of course, we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It was literally just a teaser trailer, but the main thing was it was confirming that Nolan North is coming back, because there was a lot of worries that he was leaving along with Amy Hennig, who was the lead writer.
Yeah.
She was the kind of main creative force behind Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and she left recently. A bit of controversy about it. I'm not going to comment on it. So the guy who was in charge of The Last of Us has taken over writing and directing. So I'm a little bit sad because Amy really is a brilliant storyteller and a brilliant director. So I'm hoping, Sony are known for kind of good stories, so it's still going to be good. It's just how different having different directors will feel.
It's just like having a different writer, isn't it? It could have no impact, or it could have subtle changes.
But that's the main thing, is Nolan North is definitely coming back, and we'll have more information too soon. On that note as well, The Last of Us 2 is happening, but it's in very early prototype state.
I can live with that. I can wait.
Nothing,
I can wait. I read something actually very briefly whilst we were talking about both of them. Because obviously Uncharted 4 is going to be next gen. They were saying that the trailer that they showed yesterday already has twice as many pixels in his face. Hang on. In his face than Joel does in The Last of Us.
Okay, well that makes sense though, because that was PS3.
I know, but that's still a very good. That was amazing at the time.
And yes, I could talk about Nolan North's face till the cows come home. But also on that very nice segue, so The Last of Us has been announced for a HD remake on the PS4, so that will be coming to PS4 as well. I always thought that might be in the works.
I mean, it's a good idea, because I've got friends who didn't want to get a PS3 at the time.
Because it was right at the end of the cycle.
Yeah, so now they don't have to. They can just go straight to PS4 and enjoy all the other cool stuff that's going to be on there. So that's a fantastic idea, and it's a beautiful game anyway. So
I can't wait to see more HD destruction and vines and
when I did the Let's Play, when I was recording it, so you guys saw it as what you thought was 1080p. That's not how it worked with the PS3.
There's long, complicated reasons, but basically a 720 capture.
So I am really excited.
So maybe we can do a replay, or maybe just a little look. Yeah, a little dabble in 1080, true 1080, just to see. Anyway, frame rates aside, number 1. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? It is gonna be No Man's Sky. So I've gone for an indie game, and Sony have a lot of love for indie titles, or at least they have done in recent years.
I'm pretty sure they have again this year. There's been so many. I was trying to pin down.
And again,
games.
that was the thing. The main difference between the Sony conference and the Xbox conference was that the Xbox conference, great. I loved it this year because they actually showed games, but they only had one section for indie games in which they kind of lumped everyone in one. PlayStation conference focused more on different indie games, so there were plenty of different indie games that were given kind of equal screen time almost. So No Man's Sky is made by Hello Games, who are the guys actually who made Joe Danger. So a bit of a departure for them. It's a completely different art style, of course, because I couldn't imagine a game of this ilk with Joe Danger's art style. So basically it's about a little spaceman exploring the universe, and the idea is every single planet is procedurally generated. So it's a big old sandbox, open world to explore. So I cannot wait for that. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and yeah, I cannot wait to get hands on with that. So No Man's Sky for me was the winner out of the whole Sony conference, and of course all the indie games as well.
Absolutely.
I love to see that. So Sony, you know, in terms of kind of the big conferences, I know everyone loves to go like, oh, who won the conferences? I would say that in recent years, Sony has always won hand down because they've always got the tone of it right.
Yeah.
But I'm tempted to say that Xbox won it this year.
So I think the only reason like this year that they've actually they're even up for consideration is because they've stopped doing all the silly tech demos which we don't care about.
And it was just games.
And it was 90 minutes of trailers.
Games.
But arguably,
and some gameplay.
But arguably, yeah, I don't know. It is difficult this year, isn't it? Because there were some fantastic new IPs from both sides.
Yeah.
And I just don't even know.
I mean, to be honest, everyone's level pegging. I think
Yeah.
really the thing I've taken away from it is that I hate kind of engaging in console wars and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what I love is that it is such a good time to be a gamer right now.
Oh,
so now that we've had the consoles out, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One out, and they've been out for a year, and we have gotten the kind of hardware out of the way, we're getting into the software, we're getting into the games. So we have so many titles to
and
play.
we've got so many co-op multiplayer. People
co-op
are listening.
titles. So that's brilliant.
It's brilliant. It's fantastic.
So that's fantastic.
So good.
So there we go. Generally, happy overall. I've got nothing bad to say about anyone's stuff.
I know.
So that's it from us. We've got more coverage on everything coming out, including show floor stuff from EA, from Bethesda, from Nintendo.
Yep.
And we've got some exclusive hands-on with things like Far Cry, The Crew, Valiant Hearts, all that kind of stuff. We got some shooting of elephants and all that kind of thing.
That was you.
That was me. I shot an elephant.
She's a murderer. I was not. I was good.
But for now, that's us talking about the Sony conference. See you next time.
Bye.